I'm cool.
Okay. Oh man. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well.
Okay. Oh man.
Yeah, turn that
Good
down in the
morning,
background. Turn it off. Your background there.
Hear me
How's
now?
that? Yeah. I think you're good now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. All right. Good morning, everybody. Waiting on I hope Mars get in here early because this is all because of him. He had me up half the
We
night.
we still got some feedback.
Hold on. Because I'm on my computer, it shouldn't be anything. Let me turn this off. I'm starving too, man. What'd you eat this morning?
2 eggs, 3 pieces of turkey bacon.
Man, don't rub it in. I should just say, did you eat? How's that? I
yeah.
still got feedback.
Yeah. It's still an echo, man. Like something's on. I don't
There's
know if you
nothing.
got the phone, you got
Nothing's
the
on but my computer.
your laptop.
That's all I'm on my laptop.
Mm,
Hold on. Let me
wait,
put
no-
on my. Let me close this. I have this issue. That's why every time I talk to you, I have this issue. Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if there's an echo though. Still, yeah,
Because I'm not
still.
echoing.
Oh, hold on, that might be me, dog. That's my bad.
You ate too much.
My bad. That was all me, sir.
uh,
Yeah. Good morning, people.
that's
What's up,
cool.
Richard?
Nothing, none at all. I was listening to Mars. I listen to Mars, and
Yes, sir.
and I haven't had a chance to get through there. But yesterday I went through there for a minute, and he always had something challenging to talk about. And yesterday he was talking about the lack of brotherhood he felt in the community, right?
Hmm.
And I heard what he was saying. A lot of people say that. A lot of people bemoan it, but none of us really, few of us, I should say, have ever really studied what brotherhood is as a concept. And what I found is that during my study, because I'm doing a thing on a series of lectures on this pretty soon, probably in the fall, about the
Yeah.
development of that very idea. But the words we use around it are so specific to the culture we have that we never consider what came first. And but brotherhood, the way we define it, as humanity, right? Toward humanity. That's the way we look at it. I'm talking about black people specifically, but when you say brotherhood, that word has evolved in definition toward what's humane, the brotherhood of man, and all of this, that, and the other, right? But when you say brotherhood, you've already defined it as a male issue,
Right.
which is fine because that's where it started, right? And so, first, let me give a biological reason that I think is necessary. I'm not a biologist or anthropologist or archaeologist, but I know black people, right? And I'm pretty good at languages. But so, what we have to understand about what we are thinking about in brotherhood predated. Let me read it to you because I wrote this last night. Uh, the intuition toward what universally we see as brotherhood predated modern language. The thousands of years it took us to create the notion of brotherhood, being humane, that part of it, that we understand it, not the word. The notion of brotherhood should not be minimized. It took thousands of years of human development to do that. Brotherhood is not a European invention, but it has been driving many aspects of human cultures during recorded history. But the corruption of the word was a modern human endeavor. The corruption of the very notion that there's a universal humanity pretty much begin with this. because we are men, and men are the dominant form of this species. And so anything that comes out of terms of community, life, wealth, whatever, has always been a male endeavor, whether we like it or not. The women can say what they want, but they don't write the books. They didn't write the dictionary. They didn't do what it took to develop that part of this culture. That's just a fact. I mean, it's not lesser or more, right? But so I always started like post World War II, because that's my era. I was born in 53. And a lot of y'all can relate to, so since I'm your parents' age sometime, you can relate to what I'm seeing because you saw them, okay? So since World War II, life since World War II showed the rapid pace of brotherhood idea, the idea that there's a universal humanity disintegrating. And not only is disintegrating, it's resisting redefinition so we can use it properly, right? Because at one time, brotherhood mean men. That was just a simple definition. It's just for men, right? So brotherhood in the modern era, everybody can read the standard definition of brotherhood they want. The word wasn't really in use until, say, the mid 1200s, almost through the 14th century, as a word. Then it becomes what I know. Only words I know are English words. So now my idea of brotherhood and humanity is based on that language. I can't get around it. That's just the way it is, right? But look up the standard definition of brotherhood and then look up a modern definition. You can see the change between men, groups of men doing certain things, and all of a sudden the humane part of it comes in. You can track it. All right. The biological necessity and the human urge to survive expanded the brain and the mind to create behavior around relationships and cultures to promote brotherhood, male groups as a defense and as a way to promote your own interests. So you got one group of men defending themselves against another group of men. They call themselves comrades, brothers, things of a family type nature, a bond that is greater than friendship, right? That's what we were describing when this word evolved in the Middle Ages, when this word came about. Because they always at war. Widespread slavery in Western civilization was already present. And so that was another aspect of brotherhood where you can start denying the very humanity of other men because they're not your brothers or your comrade in arms, right? Or your dog, how we start portraying it in modern language, right? But the first brotherhood was the brotherhood of yourself, the idea you have of yourself, as opposed to the very physical self you can see. So there are two competing ideas sometimes. And you have to reconcile that, right? And if we have to understand that the self is not a part of the body, right? And how we evolve that idea to deal with life's challenges is unique to human beings. This is not, I mean, it just is what it is. The extended family, clans, and tribes based on non-family needs form additional bonds to enhance the chances for survival.
Right.
Now, not only for the necessities of life, but to procreate and defend against threat to it from the environment, other life forms, and equally capable humans who want to eradicate you.
Right.
Violent responses to danger, and the human idea that the quality of life is better with like-minded people like you, continue to elevate the need for brotherhood, for a male response to those dangers. Religions and other dogmas are part of dominating and subduing the earth, managing it, and changing the living conditions as needed. It requires innovation and cooperation based on elevating that humanity, that humaneness, as a requirement for successful human development. But that is not what that word brotherhood means. It never meant that. And those are two competing ideas. Creating and combating superstitions hindered all our best efforts, and they still do. Religious dogmas, other secret society dogmas like cultural things, fraternities,
Right.
baseball club. Look at the language of brotherhood, even in sports, rest on the identification of symbols with people and not people with the symbol. You know, and it's like a football player gets traded next Sunday, playing against his old team like it was like they enemies.
Right.
Okay, well, that's a distinctly male thing. right? So the biological need for inclusion and protection and procreation and advancement was dependent on Brotherhood, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers.
Right.
All of those things were created as a brotherhood to what? To promote their self-interest and make sure they got their share of whatever was out there. There's nothing wrong with that. You advocate for yourself. But Black people had the tendency to think there's something wrong with that power dynamic, right? Well, part of it, well, you know where that comes from. Can Christianity make you big? But that's another issue. All right. So now we get to this part, the word itself. Brotherhood is a compound word. By definition, a brother is a male. Any ideas of an expanded meaning and depth to it must be seen as expanding on what is distinctly white-dominated linguistic expression in the languages. This is not an indictment. That's just the language we know. It's not good or bad. That's just the language we know. But we have to understand where we don't fit in this language and where we do fit in this language, right? So the derivatives of those tongues, the only languages that we know, Spanish, French, Italian, those are all Romance languages that the only African people in America know. We don't speak Mandarin and get an idea of humanity or brotherhood from the Chinese. This is where we are. And it's okay. I mean, we just deal with where we are. Okay. These groups created coded languages and secret rituals they use for power, autonomy, and profit. And the profit they provided by being in that, be it war, wealth, domination through trading in other humans, superstition, religion, or scientific innovations. If we are going to use this term, and there is no, in my mind, no reason not to, the word is just a word, right? We should apply it to the behaviors originating from it, though. What was the behaviors of a brotherhood for advancement? For whatever reason, you decide if it's for your family, community, or your own personal self. That's what you decide. But it was for the very thing that was made. Men were deciding how to divide up the spoils of this land, of this earth. So we should apply it to the same way they were. On the road to power, there's no detour for kindness and no exit for goodness. The pursuit of power is just that, the pursuit of power.
Right.
The definition of brotherhood did not become more benevolent or goodwill until after the invention of the printing press. 1440, 1450, around that era. 50 years later, Columbus is gone with the Bible written. This is not coincidence. The written word is much easier to corrupt than speech. You can change a verb, you can change an apostrophe, you can change any punctuation to make something really, really different. And that's why it was easier to carry the book than to carry the word. Because if I give you the book, I have to teach you how to read it in the words that are written in it. And so I'm still establishing a narrative. But this is how priests and monks, all men, mind you, who are ordered by their own Christian doctrine to not have children, call themselves brothers and got away with it. Because that male title of brother gave the most despicable among some religions the opportunity to be called by a male name that had dignity in it, brother. And it covered up a lot of stuff. And so when Mars was saying the sense of brotherhood, he don't feel it because it's not to be felt anymore. Modern language does not require so much cooperation to eat, sleep, and drink, food, shelter, and clothing. You don't have to work with people anymore. There's no guild of, there's no brotherhood of remote workers at home guild.
Right.
There's no brotherhood. That's just the reality. So as we get more technological advanced, and we don't even have to go to the store anymore. We don't have to grow food together. We don't have to do laundry together. We don't even have to have babies together. We're never going to get back a sense of that idea of humanity that we think is brotherhood encompassed in that word. We're never going to get that back.
Stay at home dads, 1156.
Right. Real talk. Now, and so if you want to find, and I was that for a while, but I had to learn, this is where I started on this journey, this man brotherhood thing. You had to learn to define the activity, what you're doing in a certain word. And if it's not in brotherhood, you need to find another word that it fits in. to give you dignity. If what you're doing is good, raising my children.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you the definition from Merriam-Webster.
Right.
Brotherhood, noun. Number 1, the quality or state of being brothers. Number 2, fellowship, alliance. Number 3, an association such as a labor union or monastic society for a particular purpose. Number 4, the whole body of persons engaged in a business or profession.
All that's for what, John? For profit, for power. That's the very definition of the brotherhood. It's a power-seeking enterprise. It's a power-seeking idea. It's a power-seeking group of men. You don't organize around just to be sitting around doing what you were doing before you was organized.
Right.
All of those things you read, entailed in that is the pursuit of power for your own interests, not to the harm of anybody else. That's the humanity part of brotherhood. We negotiate like labor unions do. The give and take, the evolution of how our behavior is supposed to change with the evolution of conditions in which we live in.
Right.
Right. And as African people in America, we want to take the good of that word and don't take the power. So the only thing we have is the power of the gun they gave us. If you exercise certain power, you don't have to exercise the power of the gun. This man got nuclear weapons. He ain't dropped them on nobody lately.
Mhm.
Right. And so all I'm saying is we have to stop looking for something in certain words like brotherhood, manhood, any compound word that would allow you to decide, well, this is good. But the first word in hood, neighborhood, manhood, womanhood, those are the things that divide us, and it should divide us for profit. I'm all about getting better. And so when I was thinking about what Mark was saying, it's a good thing to me that we don't see that type of humanity in that word brotherhood. We're not brothers. We should be allies.
Mm.
We should be friends. We should be, what you just say, partners in commercial enterprises.
Yeah. Fellowship.
Fellowship. Fellow.
Yeah.
Ship.
Right.
I'm not talking to you sisters today. Y'all got your own issue. I never address women issues, so y'all leave me alone. And that's just the reality. And I think that once, if and when we get to that part, we will be able to have a deeper discussion on what it means for us to pursue the power that we have to have in order to live better. Well, the power does not necessarily, power tends to dominate, but it doesn't have to dominate to harm.
Right.
Right. It can dominate to a lot of things, but you have to have it first. And for some reason or another, we want to get the benefits of the kumbaya benefits of power without getting the power. Well, that's inherent in what we were taught. And a lot of it is inherent in the language we were taught. But we were denied humanity. So how can we have a brotherhood?
Hmm.
And how can the church teach us about brotherhood when we know it was in that church that brought us that book? What brother, you go to a cathedral and you ask for a brother, and he come out and you say, hey, man, where's your brother? Where's your son? That's all I'm teaching. Well, I don't have no son. Well, I thought how you gonna teach somebody else to be a brother? I can't have sons. It's against everything I stand for is divine. The foolishness of it all. But that's how culpable we are to that language because of where we got it from. And it wasn't they beat it into us. They stole ours and then beat it into us. But that doesn't mean, and that's that is the plight of a lot of people in human history. It just wasn't us. We're not the only people that lost our language due to being enslaved or damn near genocided away.
Right.
We're not the first. We need to get off that. And we won't be the last. Ethnic cleansing is ethnic cleansing. And when you ethnically cleanse people, you cleanse them of their language first so you can cleanse them of their history. And you can define their present in your terms with the language you gave them. And so, right. So when Mars was saying that, and I've been thinking about this for a minute, when Mars was saying that, and I hear it all through, especially since Trump got shot. This is what the false idea of brotherhood allows you to do. Act like that their concerns are yours. If Trump died or didn't die, Biden died, what's that going to change for us?
Right.
We can't force our definition of what brotherhood means inside of a concept and power structure that has rejected us. That's okay. They're not going to do it. So in trying to force ourselves, and that idea of brotherhood in terms of the language they've given us makes us beg. Please do right by us. Well, if you're a man, you just take shit. Especially from people who have made it expressly clear they're giving you nothing of value. Nothing of value. And so when you get on these YouTube streets, when you're talking about brothers, and people talk about brotherhood, we can't never do this. That's what's wrong with black people. The all or nothing language of black people is embodied in that idea that they gave us a brotherhood, because we were never their brothers. And there's not a single word in that language that said black men are brothers of anybody. Name one. Name a word. I challenge everybody. Name a word in the English language that means black men are good brothers. This is the reality we face, and it's okay. It's not okay to keep living in it, though. And it's not okay to not acknowledge that exists. In the course of human development, shit happened. But in the course of human development, it happened to us. We're still in a place where we can reapply the definition of what a brotherhood is to our own circumstances. And that is the pursuit of power. The application of any idea or concept to your benefit in your circumstances is the very definition of the pursuit of power. And so when people talk about politics, I know they don't know anybody in politics. White men know it too. That's why you let them talk. All the conspiracy theories, they don't know one white boy who ever had a conspiracy to steal a bag of chips, let alone do all of this. And they will get up there and pontificate with certainty that there's either they secret white people or God secret white man plan. But whatever it is, we can't point to that and say that's the enemy. And he did it, so we can't charge anybody. And that's how big that superstition is around that word we allow them to beat us over the head with. In different form: brotherhood, patriots, citizens, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear. And that's just what we did to them. We gave them our ear, the direct pathway to our brains and our minds. And when they stop teaching us about, oh, it's lovely, and then teach it about get the power, do for self, this is what we have. The belief that black people can't get together. Black men. I ain't putting the sisters in this. I'm sorry, y'all. Black men. That's all I hear. That's all I listen to. And every time I'm listening to somebody, that's why you can't help me. That's why you can't help niggas. I'll give you a good example. I was at Peace Jam this weekend, the Nike tournament in Augusta, Georgia, and it was thousands of people there watching hundreds of kids that they have been working hard to put in a position to acquire some type of power and autonomy over their lives, be it a scholarship, at the NBA, whatever. And I saw working parents. I know how much it costs because I know I paid for it, my own self going. I know I can imagine bringing 2 or 3 kids like I saw those women and men do. And they have to stay for a week. For the last 10 days. Yeah. We don't own those hotels. So we're paying them again, and they're dedicated to giving their children a chance. All these kids aren't that good. They know that. But I saw that. I hear one argument. I've been to 8 of them. No arguments, no fighting, no whining, no crying. Thus, that is the very embodiment of that idea for black people. We can come together, bring our kids to compete with one another and see who wins. And the winner gets the spoils. but the competition and the camaraderie of the parents themselves and the family structure it promotes is lost on us because the people on YouTube don't go around stuff like that.
Mm.
They talk that stuff about they raise their kids, but they don't talk about what it takes to produce. You know how much it costs to feed a 6'8", 16-year-old? I know a woman who does that.
God
Good,
damn.
great kid. He's 16, maybe 17 now. The number one tight end in high school and the number one basketball. He was the athlete of the year nationwide. The boy's 16, 6'8". She works 3 jobs.
Mm.
I see her every time I go. She never whines and cries. Till we get to seeing ourselves putting our kids in a position to compete for good, we're going to let them keep whining like we do, hoping for good. If you live somewhere where you know the outcome for your children is horrible, why don't you move? If you live around bad schools or food desert, get your ass up and move. You can go somewhere else and get the money and then put one where you was.
Yeah, that's easier said than done for a lot of people.
It's easier said than done. It's easier said than done because they don't understand it. They're using credit for everything else. Use credit for your butt to move.
Mm.
We're not talking about spending money in this pursuit of power and brotherhood. And I'm talking about we live on credit. And if you want to move and you got $5,000 worth of credit, you can move. You can save that, John. Easier said than done. It's easier said than done because they don't want to do. And so when I'm in an environment of parents who are doing the best that they can, I have to remind myself about that whole concept of brotherhood is the humanities that we believe encompass us, but that word doesn't. And so we got to take the behavior of that word and so the behavior that surrounds that word and use it for our own good because there's good in brotherhood. It's not an evil word.
Right.
And it was developed because I belong to a lot of brotherhoods. The shifting identity and the give and take of cultures allow for that in that word. And sometimes you compete with a guy who is just your friend. But as brothers, we're supposed to compete in a humane fashion. But if you're a Christian and a Muslim, and it's in your sacred book, your enemies are in your own household, you can't encompass that idea of what a brother is. Your very God didn't have no brothers, let alone a wife. This is not a criticism of Christianity. That's what it is. They rose to power under the term brotherhood. Brotherhood leads to nationalism, leads to tribalism, leads to racism in this extreme. But what it always leads to is cooperation among those of that group to pursue power for themselves. It always assumes that. This is not a guild we're talking about. This is a brotherhood. And you die for your brother. When you talk about the band of brothers, what were they doing? They were in war. There's no good feeling until you win. If you playing a game and you go down with a sprained ankle and the other team got the ball, well, you got to wait till you get the ball back to get help. Otherwise, you just lay there. And your teammates got to get the ball back for you so you can get help. This is the reality of human life as men. It's nothing. I mean, it just is what it is, man. But Mars is the intellectual that y'all should listen to him sometime. And his presentation is heartfelt and it's highly educated. We think because we talk a certain way, but I listen to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Highly coherent thought. Very cognizant of the situation in which he lives in the world in which he finds himself. And he hurts for Black people like a lot of us do. But if we're going to keep this idea of brotherhood, maybe we never had it, and maybe we should get it. The true idea. Read that again. The 4 definitions of it you just said, you read from Merriam-Webster, was for profit. And you had to cooperate, think the same, have self-interest and pursue them. That's what brotherhood is. And men don't apologize for it. They don't even apologize for the corruption for it. So that's what I was going to just extend to Mars today, because I love that brother, because he made me think. Like, damn, Mars, I was tired. And I read that.
Shout out to Mars.
Shout out to Mars Lowell. Riding on my shoulder. What about this? What about that? But he keeps me sharp, and thinking about what he does keeps about how much effort he puts into thinking about Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Mars thinks about Black people, and not enough of us do that. You know, and it's not because we don't want to, it's just we don't think about it because we living so easy. But the idea of a universal community is almost gone due to technology. We can do everything by ourselves in front of this computer. There's profit in it. We have to help strike a balance between that and humanity. That's our men. That's a man job, because it's men doing it. These women can't stop these wild ass men. They can't stop little boys. It's not their job. Their womanhood, sisterhood, the basis of sisterhood was the birth process. Not the gender roles, but the birth process was the very foundation of what sisterhood was. Gender roles are defined by cultures, and they evolve in cultures. What good do you do with be an Arab woman and you think a woman's supposed to go down the river and wash the water and she live in the desert, wash the clothes, she live in the desert. She can't do the laundry as a gender role. They don't run the water. Woman's a nomad. This is what I'm talking about when we think about Black people. And we're smart enough to do that. And so once again, Mars got me, man. I was planning on doing some other stuff, but I hope you listen to Mars.
Yeah, I listen to Mars.
You know, and I hope he appreciate my response, you know. But that's all I have for you, man. I appreciate you giving me this chance. And you know, if everyone ask me some questions, whatever, I don't have the answers to this. I don't have the answer to get the process started. I don't have the answer to see it through. I don't have that much time. But this is a community effort of men. We need to start talking better about this part of it. What can we do? Not how can we collaborate on YouTube channels and business and that small scale thinking that lazy people do when they fantasize. But the actual work and how to plan and how to cooperate and the behaviors around that we have to modify for ourselves in order to do this. And we can do it. Anybody no smarter than us, you know. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. I'll hit you up later, man.
Hey, that's what's up, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for enlightening us and coming on the stream, for real.
All right, I'll hit you up.
Okay, that's what's up, Richard.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that was Richard Conley speaking on the meaning of brotherhood and where Black men fit into that. You know, is there a brotherhood? Maybe not. This is in response to Mars Lowell video a couple of days ago. But yeah, thank you very much, Richard Conley. I'm gonna get off of here, and we'll talk to everybody later. Peace.